Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for coming. It's so much fun to have you here. My name is Tegan Smith, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the principal of Channel Consulting. And my goal is that you will come away from today's workshop feeling new confidence in your ability to face the challenges of navigating the development review and approvals process here in BC. So I'm going to be sharing what I've learned about how to get out of your own way in project approvals, how to expedite the process and make it as seamless and stress-free as possible. So I'm going to be sharing some specific strategies that will help to keep municipal staff happy, make their jobs easier, while also really minding your own business plan. So I have that presentation. I'm going to put my slides on the screen here and we'll get started. Okay. So we'll start off just with a land acknowledgement. I'm honored to be joining you today from the territory of the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh, whose ancestral connection to the land continues today. In the workshop today, I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to dive right into 3 common mistakes that most project leaders make in navigating the development review and approvals process in BC. Please stay till the end because I'm going to be sharing some information about a special opportunity to work together in 2023. So, about me, I'm an urban planner. I've been working in BC's land development industry for nearly 25 years. I finished my master's degree in 1998. And I know how difficult, complex, and frustrating the process can be. I've been working on hundreds of projects over the years, and I've also been making hundreds of mistakes. And that's how I've learned. That's how I've learned to navigate the process with confidence and ease. So you can find out more about me on my website, channelconsulting.ca, under team. There's also a media page, and ULI did an article about me last Friday. And so there's a link to that article under the media page. And you can also just take a look at my LinkedIn page. So the work that I'm doing today is really about holding space for collaboration between project teams and government. So I work with for-profit developers. I also work together with nonprofit groups and government to government. And I'm supporting projects that are anywhere between $10 and $200 million project value. So this includes everything from, as you'll see in this list here, industrial and office projects, rental housing, social housing, townhomes, private schools, arts buildings, even a fish hatchery. So this has really enabled project leaders to be accountable to their investors, to their investment committees, their capital committees, and their boards. And there we go. So today, I'm going to be talking about the 3 common mistakes that applicants make and how to get out of your own way in navigating the development review and approvals process. And in my experience, there really are 3 ways that applicants get in their own way. And this is 80% of applicants. That's my experience from working in government. It's the lack of knowledge of the requirements, pointing fingers and pushing at government staff, and expecting government to solve your problems. So this slide really illustrates the different government land use rules that may impact your project. When applicants and consultants are unclear about the layers of the policy and the various stakeholders, the submissions, they show up as poor quality. There are no easy development sites left in the region. Most projects are redevelopment or they're located in proximity to environmentally sensitive areas. And because of this, on top of municipal policy, most files now require review by FLNRO or the Ministry of Environment or the Ministry of Transport, the ALC, the Port, Fisheries and Oceans Canada, as well as Indigenous engagement. And so I get it. I experience it every day. It's truly not easy to know the rules. However, the reality is that the technical deficiencies in applications mean additional required rounds of comments. So extra rounds of review are a problem, not only for the review team on the government side, but also for the project team, of course. And those additional iterations require staff resources, which is a problem. And the additional submissions, they cause delays and they impact business plans. And this is happening all of the time. Submissions go into the city and they don't align to the land use policy. So we see this with architects, environmental professionals, and engineers that are really focused in on their subject matter area, which is awesome. But the submissions don't fully align to the criteria that the project's going to be reviewed against. And so this is where I'm like very, very focused on really doing a great inventory at the outset. So this other issue around knowing the land use policy is that correctly inventorying the rules, the fees, and the timelines is critical to your pro forma and to your business plan. So on every project where I get involved, every single one, I find mistakes. And when someone wasn't sure, perhaps they just made an optimistic assumption. So I just see it all the time, project leaders leaving millions of dollars on the table, literally, by not knowing how the rules are going to impact their applications. So on our website, under media, you'll find a free resource. It's a land use study workbook. And I really want to make it totally available to the industry. It's an incredible resource to make sure that you are having a full assessment. I haven't seen anything like it, which is why we created it. So this testimonial really underscores that being transparent with the government stakeholders, so as you're doing that inventory, is key to knowing the truth about how land use regulations will impact your project. Simon was the development manager on the Exchange Business Park project in Abbotsford, and we worked together for about 4.5 years for the approvals of that project. You can find out more about the intricacies and the challenges in that in the ULI article that I mentioned earlier. So the second mistake, the number 2 mistake that applicants make, where they can get in their own way, is pushing at government staff. So this image really underscores the importance of working with the planner to get results before escalating things. And oftentimes the mayor actually has no idea about the land use rules. So we recommend to work with the planner and then socialize things upwards from there. Some applicants get frustrated. We've all been there, get bad news. And then they try and bully the city. They call the mayor, they complain to the management. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that might work once. But generally, the grouchy folks are the last ones to receive the return phone call or email. So pushing and pushing and pushing and hoping for a yes really does not help with advancing the project review. So development review and approvals is about working together, and it's really about that partnership. And the truth is that municipal planners take pride in their work. Planners, they need to be supported with high quality information that enables them to present that decision to the next level up. ULI BC did a post yesterday about issues in real estate for 2023. And they underscored the climate of rising construction costs, interest rates, inflation. And all of those issues are the exact reason why we need to take the reins and get in the driver's seat on our projects. I see a lot of posts on LinkedIn right now indicating hopes that Vancouver's council, led by Ken Sim, for David Eby's new Housing Supply Act are going to make a difference for the development review and approvals process. And I have a very strong view on this, that those changes are not going to make a wrinkle of difference in the development review process. And the reason why is because of the complexity of the sites, the volume of applications. There's never been more applications, and the staff shortage. So what is going to make a difference to get your application to the top of the stack and get it moving is how you approach the process. The Great Resignation has had an enormous impact on government. There's never been fewer staff in municipalities. There's never been more job vacancies, and the new staff need training. This includes planners, subject matter experts, environment, transportation, etc. So municipal teams are desperately understaffed. So finding ways to be supportive, finding ways to be helpful is going to put your application at the top of the stack. It will result in your phone calls getting returned and your emails getting returned. And I see this on every application I'm working on. I get calls back within hours, not even 24 hours, because we're actually helping. Okay, now the next piece that's important is the approach to Indigenous engagement. So I still hear a lot of project leaders who are looking to get the endorsement of the Indigenous stakeholders. And so when it comes to working with Indigenous groups, it's really important to make the time and space to listen and really listen and connect and know the truth and enter into the space with an open heart. Ensure that you have the training that you need. This is a great book by Bob Joseph. He's awesome. And he has an organization called Indigenous Corporate Training, and they have like awesome training programs available on demand on their website. And I definitely encourage that. I encourage having a reconciliation statement for your project and sticking to it. This is just another testimonial that really underscores that projects, they get toxic. It's really important to consider how you show up in those relationships with the Indigenous groups as well as with the government staff. Okay, and the third mistake that I see all the time is expecting government to solve the problem. So the government hasn't told me how to do it yet, so my project's stuck. So this graphic really illustrates the process that we work through with clients before presenting a solution to the government review team. So we go through discovery, understanding what is the problem exactly. And that's, I think, the biggest area where it's really important to get the help from the staff, like really help me understand the problem that we're trying to solve here. Really clear problem identification. Then strategizing, engaging with whoever you need to in order to unearth solutions and develop a plan, and then deliver that, bring that forward. Applicants that work independently with their own resources and bring solutions, those are the ones whose projects progress. Incomplete submissions are a major problem. When I was working in government, about 80% of applications submitted were actually incomplete. So, and then when I was working on project teams, I saw that the project leaders and subject matter experts were actually rushing to get the application in because they believed it was going into a queue. And so they would do that even when the technical issues were going unresolved, which actually costs time because someone goes through your file, then says it's deficient, then they don't want to look at it again. So there's a misconception that it's better to get your project in a queue than it is to meet the requirements. In my former role as a manager of planning and development in a government organization, I had about 145 projects under 11 planners as direct reports. Planners were mostly new and in training. And so I was very intentional to help the team plan on how to spend their time. And in the big stack of applications, relatively poor submissions were given a very low priority. So there's a conception that get it in, just get it in. And I just think that's a really important piece for people to understand is just wait, get something in that's really beautiful, and then socialize it and get it rubber stamped and across the line. The piece that I wanted to kind of highlight around, I'm just going to go here at this one, that I wanted to highlight around solving problems is there's a lot of ways to solve problems and to develop solutions through having a great network. So, you know, it's easy to just like call up the government and tell them, you need to tell me what to do. But if you've built a really beautiful network where you have, you know, some great contacts who are architects, you got some great civils, you got some great heritage people, public consultation, you can call them up and say, hey, do you have any ideas? Have you seen any precedents? Where have you seen this before? What would be an equivalency? How could I do this on a budget? How could I share costs with the neighbors? And you could come up with those solutions and those genius ideas through your own network, rather than calling on the government to solve the problem. The other thing is if you have these people in your network, you might just meet them for a coffee or give them a call, rather than engaging them for, you know, a $25,000 scope of work or whatever. So I really want to focus here about the antidote to reaching out to the government and asking them to solve your problems is to really build out your network. And there's so many ways to build your network. You could get on a board or building committee for a social housing project. You could join a formal industry organization. You could just reach out to people on LinkedIn, do coffee meetings. There's so many different ways to build out your network, but I just want to really make a strong statement that you don't have access to as many resources if you don't have people to call. So that's just a really important part of getting in the driver's seat in terms of your ability to solve your own problems. This testimonial really highlights that having great relationships enables effective interactions and allows the project team to work with high quality information. So I just want to take a little pause here. Just take a moment, if you can just think about a project that you're working on that's maybe a little bit challenging for you right now. Do you know the truth about the approvals risks on your project? Thinking back to other projects that you've worked on, like what mistakes have you made before? And are there the hard things that you're kind of like, you know, not wanting to look at right now? Is your project actually on track for approval? And how much time and money is it costing you to know or not know? Can you be more accountable? Like, do you feel like, you know, if I'm called upon to report to my investors or my investment committee or my board or my capital committee, how confident am I? So there's 3 ways that I help people and that I can help in 2023. There are the do-it-yourself workbooks that are available on the website under media. Those are free of charge. I don't provide support to those resources, but those resources are there. And I really believe that they're an important impact that we have in our work. The second option is how I've been working with project leaders over the last 3 years since I started the company, which is one-to-one support. And there's limited bandwidth. I could take on about 1 more project next year, but that is a one-to-one confidential support that I provide, and it provides clients with long-term stability in their government and subject matter relationships from the time that I get involved all the way until the issuance of the development permit. So that's usually about 2 or 3 years, the cycle of my involvement in a project. Though that doesn't include subject matter input, and it doesn't include, other things. I provide that support on a monthly retainer fee. Because I've been trying to find ways that I could focus my gifts and impact more projects, because I have a lot of inquiries and not a lot of bandwidth to take on new projects. I'm launching this Approvals Accelerator program, which I'm really excited about. It enables me to help 12 project leaders concurrently. There will be, I'll walk through this in a minute, but there's one-to-one confidential support for the project. There's group learning, there's subject matter sessions, there's executive coaching. The goal is to build capacity in the industry. So we have 12 project leaders that are at the next level, building a peer network. It's a 16-week commitment starting in January, and it's a fraction of the cost of the one-to-one support. So I'm really excited about it. The goal is to really enable a clear path to development approvals within the 16 weeks. So it's really to help ensure that folks have clarity on how land use policy is impacting their project, have clarity in the gaps in their network, and we close those gaps, and that we're solving the problems, not looking to the government to solve the problems. So this testimonial really highlights how important it is to know the fine details of the land use policy, as well as having the contacts that you need to make things a reality. So this approvals, I'm calling it the Approvals Accelerator Mastermind. It's a 16-week program, and at the end of the 16 weeks, your project is at the top of the stack, and it is ready to take across the line for approvals. You're confident in the risks and how to manage them, and you have new relationships in place that make the difference for this project and for future projects. The accelerator is going to include one-to-one coaching with me, as I mentioned. We'll dive into confidential project issues. I appreciate what a big issue confidentiality is in the industry, and develop specific solutions to those really challenging project issues. I'll be offering introductions and speaking points to help build your network and create an intentional plan for engaging government staff so that you get the support you need to move your project through with ease. There will be 90-minute group coaching, which I'm really excited about because we can do peer learning. In the group coaching setting, you'll have peer opportunities to help build your network. You'll learn from others about experiences they're having with their projects and really up-level your knowledge for your current project, but as well as future projects. I'm also partnering with Brenda Rigney, who's an executive coach, to deliver a super high level 4 sessions of leadership training. The topics are going to include difficult conversations, negotiation, boundary setting, effective meetings, and time management. And we're also going to go through guided exercises to encourage the contemplation to be more effective in achieving the goals on the project. There's going to be there will be the monthly guest expert sessions. We will have one led by a government planning director. We will have an environmental professional. There will be one on developing a reconciliation statement for your project. So super relevant topics. And we will also be getting your input to make sure that you're getting the support you need in those sessions. There will be 2 online strategy workshops, one at the beginning to make sure we have it right in terms of knowing exactly what we're working with, that we haven't missed anything. That's going to be incredibly important. And then at the end, we'll have one to make sure you have that roadmap and you're super confident and ready to take your project across the line. The goal really is that you're ready to get your project approved at the end of the 16 weeks. Okay, and then in addition, there'll be 2 in-person meetups. So that's really around this piece around building that network. You'll have, this group of 12 where you've all been working together for 16 weeks. You can call each other, brainstorm together, and as a legacy, you'll have those relationships to take into your career. So again, this program is around knowing the land use policy, building those relationships with government staff and local subject matter experts, and developing very specific solutions to problems that are delaying your project approval. Is this for you? Is it for you? Who do you know that needs this? I get a lot of inquiries all of the time, and I'm trying to channel them all into this January to April opportunity because I really do only have bandwidth to take on one more one-to-one client next year. So I know that we have 1 month, and time's going to go quickly. So if you know someone who you think will benefit from this program, please share the information with them. So we're starting to accept applications today, and you can get access to the application process through the website. Once we receive your application, if it seems like a good fit, we'll set up an MS Teams call, and then we can, deal with any outstanding questions that you have. We'll send an invoice. The invoice will have the project name, and it will be a fee that could be charged as a soft cost to the project. At that point, you'll be invited to the community, and we're going to be kicking off on January the 9th. So I'm really excited about working with 12 leaders and really seeing massive results for project approvals and really making a difference in that way for 2023. So yeah, you can just visit the website. Applications that are received by the end of the day on December 1st, we'll get a $1,500 discount to the Approval Accelerator program.